Hey guys, what's up? It's Shima here. I'm just making a little brief recap of all the stuff that has happened in the June 28th patch. I may have left some stuff out, so feel free to comment down below or ask questions as we go through this. But anyway, let's get started. First thing we'll start talking about is what am I doing? First thing we'll talk about is the Void Dungeon. Now, the Void Dungeon has this new little system that every time you run it, it fills up this bar, and it quote-unquote makes it easier for you to get Void weapons. Now, I don't know how easier it is, I don't know the exact number, percentage, or chances or stuff like that, but I have been seeing more Void weapons quote-unquote pop out in this kind of chat here, so that's kind of nice. Then also the discs were changed from it being from stage 1 to 15 to stage 1 through 5 in 3 different groups. This does not mean that any of your discs that are past stage 6 to be just removed from the game. In fact, what it does is that it gives you options of where to start off if you want stats. Which I'll explain with the mana imbue system also, as you can see here, before we let this go. Free ticket runs. Now if we go over here and show you the mana imbue system, which you can do on SD weapon, Henry weapon, heroic weapon, old raid weapons, and the void weapon. However, the void weapon you have the discs for adding it. So you can see here, this is where the mana imbue system is. You get these mana stones dropped from the newer dungeons, and they give you random stats for it. This one seems to give you more utility-ish kind of stats, and then this one seems to give you more damage-ish kind of stats. So like right here I got resistance, and here I got 1.2 add damage. However, I have seen some stuff such as like double attack, attribute proc chance, cooldown reduction, stuff like that. And if you hover over, you can see the weapon stats as well. Yeah, these new stones that are put onto there are dropped from the newest 2 dungeons shown here. They don't drop L tiers, they only drop the newer stones, and they still drop forces and stuff. However, both of them have very special accessories that don't have side effects, but they have very good effects. This one is whenever you use a skill, it has a range of what the cooldown will be. Of the maximum range down, cooldown is going to be 50% down, while it can also increase up to 150% cooldown. So personally, I find this to be a little bit interesting of a system. And then there is this one right here where it gives you 10% awakening charge, removes 30% awakening time, removes physical and magical damage by 5%, but when an awakening increases your physical and magical by 10%. So a very awakening based kind of accessory here, which is fairly nice as well. Let me show you the accessories real quick. Let me scroll. Find them, if I can find them faster. There we go. So a nice little flower ornament, and then the other ones was an earring. Shown right there. But yeah, fairly interesting accessories. If we go back to here, you can see the item level and how it works, that it is a combat level. Or if you go back to my stat screen, you can see my combat level and my defensive level, which is based on, my combat level is based off all the stats in here, so anything that increases stats in here increases combat level. Anything in here affects the defense level. However, I don't really like how they scaled the combat level to most of the dungeons, because if you go here, you got your 50,000, and then it just doubles here and then triples here. The main reason why I don't like it is because I barely made the item level. The only reason why I'm actually able to run raids or head-on now is because I got the new skill stacking glove, which gives you 32% all skill damage increase, which shows up in here as well. So yeah, like, if I take off a single Igni accessory, I can't run it. It's kind of dumb. the fact that you're very limited to that kind of stuff. But speaking of the stats, they also remove Spec A and B, where then if you have any identifications or sockets towards it, even tiers, you can change it. As you can see here, I can change my Spec A here to be 2.5 of any stat, because that's the value it has, meaning that even if I have, like, for example, Sage Stones here, I can choose 10% stat here. So if you guys want a little cheesy system to get the stats that you want, Sage, Spec A, and Spec B, and on perfect values, and then start trying to see what stats you can get for, because it allows you to pick it. But yeah, it's pretty much most of the stuff for this patch. Like, there's also the ED sharing that will affect most of you guys later on. Just fairly nice system. There's no fee for ED trading as well, so it's just flat out ED. And I would show you a bit more of the ED shop, but it's been bugging out and there's no ED shop. But I can give you an idea of the range of prices for things, such as Fetch Ore being like 100 mil, costumes being 60 to 30 mils, parts, res stones being half a mil. But yeah, it's pretty much going to be the end of this content here. If you guys have any questions, or I left anything out that you guys are more interested in, let me know. Like, for example, since I remembered it last minute, if you guys are wondering what the titles are, this one is just a proc-based title that makes you do an attack that was, like, shown in the dungeon. You guys, if you guys did the dungeon, it will show you. This one right here gives you 3% adaptability, which is the new dungeon stat that makes what the dungeons do is that it gives you less HP and stats overall. So this lessens it by 3%, which is actually about 10%. Yeah, about 10% of the damage, because it's 30%. It also gives you 3% skill cost reduction, and I believe that's skill damage less by 3%. Can't. Yeah, it is. Either that, it's cooldown by 3%. I don't know. I can't read Korean. I attempt to, but I can't. Then there's this title here, which also gives you 3% adaptability and 3% chance of proccing raining arrows, which is an attack in dungeons, and it's a dungeon-only thing. And then this one right here is just basically res passive, where if you're at 1% HP, you'll knock down, get 3 seconds of invulnerability, and it has a 3-minute cooldown. But it has no cooldown. I mean, but then it only works once in PvP. So yeah, that's pretty much the titles. And I'll see you guys some other time. Let me know if I forgot anything or if you guys have questions. Bye.